So, Nick, thank you so much. Uh, Lovely day, lovely city of London. Great platform when we are sitting here and discussing disruption in the telecom industry. What many people thought was an oxymoron till some time back, but it is happening. Now, you might argue not happening enough, right? You might argue not happening to a level where that would satisfy you or satisfy the industry leaders. Just your thoughts as we kick off this little conversation. How happy you are, how unhappy you are with the way disruption is unfolding within the telecom industry per se.
Well, thanks, Manish. It's great to be here, and you can't help but being happy on a day like today. But in terms of us as an industry, I think we all need to be quite concerned because we have an industry that is struggling to find growth and challenged to transform fast enough to unlock that growth. Now, as we enter this new AI era, that unlocks a wealth of opportunity. We can consume AI as an industry, but to do so, we need to think beyond it being a technology and the fundamental shift that it requires in our operating model. We also need to think, though, more and more about the impact for our customers. And as they consume more and more of their business or personal life through services enabled by AI, their needs of connectivity will also change. Their expectations of customer experience have already changed, and we're behind the curve as an industry in terms of addressing those. So we've got a lot of catching up to do to be ready to really service and actually unlock the growth this era can deliver.
No, I agree with you. I think, when you look at the experimentation or some of the scale work that has happened leveraging AI in the industry, they're really falling into two categories. We are increasingly seeing success of leveraging AI, Gen AI, in, let's say, how software is starting to get written. We are already seeing exponential improvement in terms of the efforts and productivity because we are adopting Gen AI tool sets. And yet, there are not enough success stories as you start leveraging AI from a growth standpoint. There are some, maybe not Gen AI per se, but some of the traditional AI techniques that are already helping in areas like customer experience or customer care. I'm not sure whether it is still helping from a customer experience standpoint. What's your take? Because you and I have been chatting this all along, that till the relationship between a telecom industry and their customers, enterprise or consumers, no matter what, unless that transforms, we are not likely to see a growth pivot happening.
So what I've seen as happening so far with AI is the industry bolting on AI as a technology. You can draw a lot of parallels to a decade ago with the adoption of cloud. Now, the difference this time is it's quite often being driven by the board and CEO down. That is very helpful. That is driving some of the change that needs to happen. It's removing some roadblocks. But if we look at where we're actually uncovering value so far, it tends to be bolting on to the existing operating model, the use of AI, call centers, developers, and so on. So when we think about bolted on AI, there's lots of low-hanging fruit there, and that's why we see some good results. There's also a plethora of use cases where it's hard to add up the operating costs of Gen AI versus that. So you need to think very carefully about which type of AI is deployed, which type of model, and the long-term costs of deploying that as well. And then, of course, there's the safety and other aspects to consider. These are all unknown, understood problems the industry is addressing. The challenge I don't think we're addressing yet is to say, what does this mean for our customers? So what are they going to want in terms of experience? What are they going to want in terms of networks that can flex? We know that the majority of these workloads are going to run over fiber. So the mobile distraction is a distraction in many ways. We need to focus on what it's going to mean for businesses and consumers in terms of new services and new possibilities. I don't see AI driving growth just through its consumption as a technology. I do see it unlocking a wealth of growth opportunities for the industry if we understand what the customer needs. If we're honest with ourselves as an industry, we're not great at doing that.
Sure. No, I think that's a wonderful point in the sense it lends itself to what will have to change for this unlock to happen. I was reading somewhere this notion of one should never fall in love with yourself so much that you are afraid to make the change that you need to make change. And I don't know whether the industry is suffering from that syndrome in not wanting to change fast enough because you just love the status quo so much, I guess. I don't know if you have any thoughts in terms of what will it take to nudge, to move that needle in the right direction from a change standpoint?
I think we're seeing it now. I think you could say 5-10 years ago, the industry was a little self-obsessed, let's say, to put another spin on what you said. I think now the rising cost of capital, the reality of different geopolitical movements and the retrenchment to sovereign network capabilities and sovereign cloud and sovereign AI are all pointing us in the right direction as an industry in terms of saying we need to change. So I don't hear any CEOs or their leadership team saying we're not prepared to drive change. I think the question is to what? And there's a school of thought that is still on a cost reduction and efficiency strategy, which is important, and we have to get that done just to have a ticket to play. But we believe in the TM Forum, there are ways to do that and unlock growth at the same time. So as you make the transformation in technology processes, as you simplify, modernize, and automate the business, do so with clarity on what you're going to be serving in the future. And what we believe is needed is a clear industry dialogue about what the purpose of this industry is in the AI era. It's got to be more than underground cables and utilitarian delivery of connectivity. It's got to be flexible connectivity. We've got to also explore our capabilities in terms of security and unlocking the many capabilities this industry has to the benefit of our customers. All of that will drive growth.
Oh, wonderful that you said all that you said. I'm very happy personally leading this amazing company at Prodapt, because our strategy is built around listening and learning from the industry experts. Listening, learning, and implementing after listening to these experts. And one thing that we have done, while these big box, the big nets, as we call them, the big telecom companies who really drive the bulk of the value today, whether from mobility or enterprise or fixed line standpoint, we've, over the last few years, very methodically built relationships and learned, I must say, from the AltNets, the fiber cores, because these folks have driven a new way of implementing the network, new way of implementing a stack, new way of building the new processes. And as we learn from them, we believe not only do we become enriched in terms of our knowledge pool of how things have to be done from a standard adoption or technology implementation standpoint, we may be able to also implement some of these learnings into the big net world as well. While at the same time, we work with these digital native, AI native companies as partners with whom we could partner, build solutions together, and take this, and take it back to the AltNet and the big net customers. So what you just said, I'm happy that it is delivering towards a direction that we have as a company taken. The big question that I still have for you is, what is it that TM Forum would be driving going forward, would like to work with people like us or with the industry going forward? If you look at a calendar year, the next 12 months per se, where do you think we should be focusing our energies on?
Well, I think a lot of it keys off what you've just said there, Manish. We as an industry have to learn how to experiment at scale and to collaborate in that experimentation. No one of us on our own can drive the kind of innovation that's going to be required. The TM Forum has focused itself around 3 core missions: delivering composable IT for this industry with the right standards to uplift the software that will enable a lot of this flexibility and rapid partnering, to deliver autonomous networks that are going to be needed in order to have our networks respond to those customer needs in real time and find new monetization pathways. All of that is underpinned, of course, by having the right data and the right application of AI. We do that in the TM Forum, as you know very well, through hands-on experimentation. Yeah. And it's great to see the AltNet community and some of the smaller operators really leading the way. They can move that a little bit faster, be a little bit more creative.
Awesome. On that note, I must say, it's a very small problem to solve, and we're going to be together to try and solve that problem together with our partners. Nik, it's always a pleasure to have you on, to talk to you about the industry and the future of the industry. Can't look forward to continue to partner with TM Forum, and as we unlock the value for the industry as well and for their customers. Thank you once again. On behalf of everyone at Prodapt, all the 6,000 proud Prodaptians want to say thank you to you for the partnership.
Thank you to you as well, Manish. Thank you.
Thank you, Nik. Appreciate it.